Hello again, everybody. This is Dan Clouser, and welcome back to the Journey of My Mother's Son podcast. Today I'm joined by U.S. Women's National Team player Anna Kimbrell. Anna, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So I want to clarify, it's the U.S. Women's National Baseball Team, not softball team. A lot of people think if I mention U.S. Women's National Team, I'm talking softball. That's
Or
not
soccer.
the case. Or soccer, yeah. So tell me a little bit about yourself. You started playing on the national team when you were 15?
Yes. So I tried out when I was 15. That was 2006. They went to Taiwan that year. I would have actually made the team, but I tore my ACL a week or two after tryouts, and I wasn't able to go on the trip. So the next year we had a friendly with Japan. I was involved then, and then in 08 I made the team at 17 years old.
Cool. So been part of your life now for, if you go back to the 15-year-old year, 15 years or 13 depending on how you look at it. So really, about half your life you've been playing on the national team. Tell me a little bit about what that's like when you're out there representing the country and playing in national tournaments.
There's no greater feeling than wearing USA across your chest and being able to compete for your country, playing the sport that you love. There's really, I don't even know how to describe the feeling, honestly. It's just when you're standing on the white lines for the anthem, and whether you're the home team or the visiting team, you get to listen to the opposing team's anthem, and then they play yours. And just standing there, and I always pray during the anthem. It's just always been my thing. And just standing there and saying my little prayer, and just thinking about, wow, how far I've come, whether I'm playing at Cary, at the training complex that's 2 hours or 3 hours from my house, or whether I'm playing in Japan. It's like, wow, how far I've come to be able to play something that I love.
Yeah.
And just get that full experience.
Yeah.
And I always think about my family and my friends back home, no matter how far I am.
Yeah.
And just all the support that I've always had. And it's just, baseball's been a big part of my life, obviously, and I'm very grateful for it, and I'm very grateful for the opportunities that USA Baseball has given me.
That's awesome.
To be able to represent my country.
That's awesome. So let's go back a little further. What made you get involved in baseball from the start, and why did it become the game of choice?
I think I was actually 2 years old when I started throwing a ball.
That's awesome.
I guess I just picked up a tennis ball at that point in time and just started throwing it. I don't know where the full, I guess the full family background or wherever I get it from. Neither one of my brothers play sports. Well, one, he swam and he does paddleboarding and stuff now, but my other brother is like total opposite spectrum. He's a farmer. He, lives in his house with land and has horses. Well, he doesn't have horses. He's got cows. He drives a tractor every day. That's what he loves to do. As far as me, I started throwing when I was 2. By 4, I was playing t-ball, and like every other kid, I just chose baseball, and that was became my passion and my desire, and just stuck with it. It's been a long road to think about, like you said, that 15-year-old me to now. It's been a really long road, but I wouldn't change any of it if I could.
Yeah. So obviously, most of your baseball career has been playing against men or boys when you were younger. What was it like the first time you played on a team of other girls against other girls?
I think the first time I played with other women or other girls, it was still baseball, but it was just like, all right, well now I'm playing with a bunch of girls, which was still cool because I wasn't the only one,
right,
which is something special. You don't get that being the only girl playing with the boys, that you're always, hey, there's the girl or whatever. But whenever, it was actually when I was in Cooperstown, it was the first all-girls team that I ever played with, and it was like, oh, there are the girls, instead of there's the girl.
Right.
There's the girls, and that was really cool, just because like it wasn't just me in the spotlight. It wasn't just me getting the attention. It was all of us. Everybody was watching our every little move.
Yeah.
And I grew up. I was fine with that, but it was just cool because now it's not just me they're looking at. It's as a whole. And I've always been such a big team player. So as my mom said earlier, I don't talk about myself very often. I'm a team player, so it was really cool. So, and I'm glad that I had that opportunity, and then obviously many more, because it just gives me something to look forward to. I get to play with the men every week. I get to play with the women. Maybe a few tournaments a year, and then with the national team once a year, maybe once every 2 years.
Right.
So it's special.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I know before we started recording, when we were talking outside, tell me a little bit about what it was like just being the only girl then. You said you have two brothers, so you were doing what they were doing when you were growing up anyway, so it was a little bit of an easy adjustment for you, but were there some difficult times when you were the only girl on the team?
There was always difficult times.
Yeah.
But thankfully my parents were very supportive, and they always had my back, and it didn't matter what anybody said. I didn't care. I wanted to play baseball. That's how I was.
You're just doing what you loved.
Yeah, and
They can say what they want.
Exactly. And it would be like my mom would sit on the other team's side just to hear what was said, and then she'd get in the car and be like, oh, well, one of the parents was saying this, one of the parents was saying that, or whatever, because they had no idea who she was there with.
Right.
And it always just kind of added a little bit more fuel to the fire, just because like, all right, well, you want to talk about it, but let me go show you, And typically after they saw me play, they wouldn't say anything else, and like even in high school, I was a pitcher in high school, and we had teams that I'd go to pitch against, and then you hear all the snickers and everything in the other dugout. Well, then as soon as you strike one of them out, it was over for them,
Right.
But for my team, it's just Anna. She's just playing ball, So it had its ups and downs, and like I said, I wouldn't change it for anything, because I've always just been one of the guys for the most part, And even with my brothers, we would roughhouse and wrestle and everything else growing up. So I remember several times my brothers and I, well, my one brother for sure, we would get in just knockdown, drag out fights. Just at each other's throats. But I wouldn't change that either. We're close now and we get along. So and same with so many of my teammates that I play with in Charlotte and in the surrounding areas. Most of the men, it's just Anna, And I think it's super cool, because now that I'm older, nobody cares. It's like we're all here for the same thing. Right. It's not like I'm taking somebody's spot, or she shouldn't be here, or whatever. It's just like I just want to play,
right.
Just like everybody else.
And if you can help them win,
exactly,
that's what they're looking for.
Exactly.
Somebody there is going to help them win.
Yep.
So when you were 15 and made the national team, then ended up getting hurt, didn't play for the national team then for another 2 years. Did you ever really understand where that might take you, where the game of baseball would take you? You've been to Japan, you've been to Canada, Australia. Where are some of the other places that the game's taken you? And did you ever think of it as a 17-year-old Anna that you would be going all these places wearing USA on your chest?
Never imagined it.
Yeah.
Never. And had anybody told me that at that age, I'd have been like, okay, whatever. Because and even still, like, sometimes when I sit down and I start thinking about it, I'm like, wow, like I really have been a lot of places, and I've met a lot of really cool people, and and like I try to stay in touch with some of those people along the way, and it's just no, I never would have thought that baseball would take me where it has.
Yeah.
And so many people when I was younger that kept saying, no, you shouldn't be playing baseball. No, like you should be playing softball. You're going to have more opportunities there and whatever. And they might have been right. They could have been right. But I've also taken every opportunity that I've gotten to continue playing what I want to play and playing the sport that I love. And it's just amazing the things that I've been able to go and see and do, and you know, even after everybody said no.
Right.
Which is super cool, because now it's like, I mean, I'm passing my experiences along to younger kids, and it just helps me show them like, nah, you keep doing you keep believing in what you want to do, and you can do it. Because I mean, I've been able to do it.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it's been quite the experience.
Yeah, that's
So.
cool. So with that experience, let's talk about this thing that's sitting here between us, this gold medal from 2015 from the Pan Am Games. Again, did you ever fathom that? And this is the real deal. You know, I've seen other gold medals, and you know, they have nothing on this one. It is the same as every other gold medal out there. So again, did you ever imagine? And part of this game was also you catching what I believe is the only no-hitter in international women's baseball to date. So between those things, winning the gold, catching that first no-hitter, you know, talk about those a little bit.
Never.
It's yours.
Never did I imagine this. You know, I mean, obviously it's every player's dream or goal, or you know, that's what you're playing for. But to be able to hold it and feel how heavy it is, and just be like, we earned that, is definitely something special. You know, and for it to be the first time that women's baseball was ever included in any multi-sport event, like that's something special. I mean, not many people will be able to say that they were a first in a multi-sport international event. I think that's super cool as well. You know, and since this medal, we've actually won. We won in 2019. That was our second gold. I just didn't bring it today, but no, the Pan Am Games in 15 were something special. We had a great team. Hudek was playing for us. She was a lefty. She's a great pitcher. So I mean, we had a solid pitching staff between her, Scotty. I call Stacy Scotty.
Okay.
Stacy Piagno. So we had Hudek, Scotty, Marty. Who else was with us in 15? Whitmore was with us.
She was young on that team.
Yeah. She's a few years younger than me. She's a senior in college this year. It's her 5th year. Who else was there? Jade was with us. She pitches as well, shortstop. She's in her 5th year as a senior as well. You know, we just had a great team. Everybody gelled, everybody got along. We all, of course, were taking in the experiences of being at the Pan Am Games, which are special on their own, just
Right.
because it's set up just like the Olympics. You know, you have the athletes village, only athletes and coaches are allowed in that village, which is really neat because it gives you time to get like away from everybody else. Not to say that like parents or fans were ever bothered us, because they don't. It just like, it gives you, like, if you want to go and hang out in your room and just be to yourself, you can do that.
Right.
Or if you want to go to the food hall and eat at every little section they have in there, you can do that. They had like all the free Coke products you could drink. They had a game room. It was just really cool, because like I've never had that experience,
Right.
especially with other sports, which was cool, because like I was on the elevator with a wrestler, and I was on the elevator with one of the ladies that was on the cycling team, and it was the same story from them. You know, what sport are you here for? Oh, I'm here for baseball. Wait, because I had my ponytail and my long hair, and they're like, wait, you mean softball?
Right.
Like, no, women's baseball. So, and then it would help educate them as well, which was cool. And it was fun too, because like in the dorms and stuff, you could sit there and you could watch other sports, and you could watch some of the people that you met, which was really cool. Just because we're usually there only to play baseball, and that's it.
Right.
So, but overall, great experience, great teammates. And then to come out on top winning gold, was even better.
Yeah.
You know.
That's so awesome. And as I told you before, I interviewed Stacy back last year, and we talked about the no-hitter a little bit. So tell me a little bit about that. I mean, I was a catcher as well, so you know, the only people who really understand that the no-hitter is really a joint experience, even though the pitcher gets the bulk of the credit there, are the pitcher and catcher. I mean, they understand that. They understand the chemistry and being on the same page. I heard Stacy's version of it, of how much you guys were on the same page that game. Tell me a little bit about, you know, your version. I mean, did she shake you off? I think she told me that she did not shake you off one pitch that game, but
No.
I can't remember for sure.
I don't think she ever shook me off, which most of our pitchers don't usually, unless if I'm telling them to shake me off.
Right.
Which is nice to know, and that's a good comforting feeling as a catcher, you know, because you know they believe you and trust in you. She was just throwing the ball well that day. I mean, not to say that she doesn't always throw the ball well, but you know, she was just, everything was working, and I don't know, I honestly didn't even realize it was a no-hitter
Really?
until the end of the game.
Really?
We were just on it, you
In the
know.
groove.
And that's how you want all games to go, right?
Yep.
So, but I mean, no, I mean, I love catching Scotty. She's a great pitcher to catch, and I don't, you know, like I said, I don't even remember it being a no-hitter until after the game.
Yeah.
So, but I guess that's all I got. I mean,
That
it's
is
just
so cool.
on the same page and going. I mean, I don't even. Everybody's making plays, you know, just all around great game.
Yeah.
So that's all you can ask for.
That's cool. That's cool. So let's fast forward to Anna present day. So we're here tonight in Rock Hill, South Carolina, at the K3 Academy, and you know, we've been friends on Facebook for a couple years now, and you know, I saw on our route that it would probably work out that we could be coming through this area on a Wednesday night. So I reached out to you and said, hey, you know, let's do a podcast, and you agreed. So I thank you for that. But now you're in a position where you're a little older. You want to give back a little bit. You're out here doing clinics for girls. You know, what's the inspiration behind that? I mean, what's the big deal on wanting to give back?
I guess it's just in my nature, you know, just being the catcher, you know, wanting to pass along the game and everything that I've learned. And I always say, I wish that I could go back and be 12, 13, 14 years old and know what I know now.
Yeah, and that's true.
Because there's so many things that when I was these kids' ages, coaches were probably telling me, but hard-headed Anna just wasn't listening.
Right.
And you know, there are things, so many things that I've learned, like honestly, since probably college. Since college, when I played softball, I had to learn things then, right? Because it was a different sport.
Right.
Probably since then until now, I've had great coaches, especially with the national team, because they're getting better and better and better, right? Ashley's doing a great job of bringing in new coaches who, you know, have some wealth of knowledge to bring to us, and they treat us like athletes and know that we know how to play the game. And so they've helped pass along their knowledge. And like, I had one really great catching coach, Coach Morgan. He taught me so much. And I just, like, even if I have a question now about something, I'll still call him and ask him the question. And I guess I just feel like I was the only girl playing in this area growing up. And it's kind of my duty or my, I don't know what the word is, my job to kind of pass along the things that I didn't have to some of these girls and some of these kids, you know, like I told you when we were talking before, I didn't know of any other girls playing in our area. I think there may have been one, and she was out in like Eastern North Carolina. So it's not like I never ever really saw her.
Right.
But I just feel like it's my turn to pass along the game. You know, I've been very grateful to have, like I said, so many really good coaches, and I mean, even growing up, I had really good coaches that supported me and, you know, wanted me to be on the team. Actually, here in Rock Hill, I had, like, I think 3 or 4 coaches that were fighting over me at one point, which was cool at that age, you know, because, like, I went from my hometown where I felt like they would just want me to play softball to I came to Rock Hill and they were like, oh, 2 or 3 coaches about had a fist fight over you.
Wow.
You know, but regardless, like, I just want the girls now to know, like, they have somewhere to come where they feel like they can talk to me, or if they have something going on that, I mean, I'm just a message away on whatever social media. I mean, they all have my contact information, and I don't want any of them to feel like they're ever alone or, you know, like they're the only one, because as you saw tonight, we had 8 girls here, you know, and one of them drove from an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
It's very cool.
There's 2 other girls in that same area, and I'm trying to coordinate to get them here as well. But, you know, it's just, I mean, the guys have so many opportunities or whatever to be able to go and get extra swings in or whatever, you know, because it's just the nature of the game, I guess. And I just want the girls to feel like they have a home and they have somewhere they're welcome. And, you know, even if we come in here and just goof off for 2 hours,
right.
I'm cool with it, because they're still getting some work in, but they're making memories and stuff, and like that's stuff that they'll take forever.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool, and I
Cool.
guess it's all right to have a hand in that.
Yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt. And obviously, as a catcher, I mean, you're literally part of the coaching staff. You know, like the catchers are the unnamed, you know, last member of the coaching staff. So it's really only natural progression to go from catcher to coach. And you also have a couple boys working out with you as well. You know, what's the reception been from just the group, having a little bit of a mixed group? You had 8 girls and 2 boys here tonight, and when I was watching it, they just all seemed they're just getting along together and playing. Yeah,
and I think the boys do. I mean, they accept me as a coach. You know, they're all 13U boys that I've been coaching this past spring, and they welcomed me in, and just like coming out here, I told the 2 kids that were coming, I was like, guys, you know you're going to be the only 2, right? Like, the reversing the roles here on you. And both of them were like, no, I don't care, it's cool. You know, they're just like me at their age. I just want to go hit. I just want to go get swings.
Doesn't matter if I'm hitting with 8 girls or I'm hitting with 8 boys.
Exactly, it doesn't matter. And I think it's really cool, because now I'm starting to see that kind of change in perspective as a coach as well.
Yeah.
You know, because at first I was like, great, 13-year-old kids, especially boys, I'm going to get some sort of backlash or something. But, you know, honestly, the kids have been great, and I couldn't have asked for a better first team to coach, and really get my feet wet with the coaching stuff. So
that's awesome.
I've enjoyed it.
That's awesome. Cool. I love that. So we're just about out of time. Before I get to my final question, anything that we didn't cover that you want to mention, that you want to throw out there?
I think just for this, like, I just want to give a special shout out to
K3 Sports Academy
for me through this, and Joe has really helped me out a lot as far as like welcoming me in for 1, and then for 2, and when I threw it on, I'm like, hey, what do you think about having a girls clinic? He was like, yeah, I mean, we can do that, you know, and he just worked it out with me, which was super cool, because a lot of other places, I'm not saying that they would have said no, but I mean, there's always that chance that they're like, no.
Right.
You know, and I really just appreciate that, and every time I've called him for anything, he's always answered his phone and been helpful. And, you know, whether I have, you know, last week we had 6 kids, whether I've got 6 kids or 10 kids, he's like, all right, yeah, just bring them on.
Yeah.
Which has been super cool.
That's
and
cool.
Yeah, and I've really enjoyed it, and I hope maybe next time, if you come back through, like I said before, maybe we can get you in touch with Jean Fout.
That'd be awesome.
She's a pretty special lady. I think you'd enjoy talking to her.
Yeah, cool.
So.
And I can attest as well. Joe is very accommodating here. We got here early. I came in. I'm like, hey, I got this big 33-foot RV. Where do you want me to put it? I don't want to mess you up. I just want to make sure I got it somewhere. And he came out and it's like, put it right there. You're good to go. make yourself at home, you're all set. So definitely kudos to Joe. I understand it's a pretty new place here, so hopefully he's here in business for a long time. And the place was hopping tonight. I mean, you had your section there in the corner, and then every other cage was going on as well. So hopefully that's a sign of good things to come for him here for sure.
Oh yeah, and last Wednesday was equally as packed. So, I think it's great. So I'm glad he's here. Glad he started this facility, and I'm glad you got to stop by and check it out.
Yeah, and he let us use this room as well. So
I know.
it's been perfect. So it's awesome for sure. So. All right, so my final question, as you know, subtitle of the podcast is Many Little People in Many Little Places. Comes from a song by Michael Franti, Gloria, where the opening lyrics say, when many little people in many little places do many little things and the whole world changes. So what's one of the things that Anna Kimbrell is doing every day to make the world a little bit better place?
I just try to leave everything better than I found it. I know that's kind of cliche, but just like women's baseball, I found it 15 years ago, and I hope that I can leave it better than what I found it. We, as a national team, we didn't get a whole lot of great gear whenever I first started, and now we're getting really, really great stuff. And same with these kids. Like when I was that age, there was hardly any kids, and now we've got a big crowd, and I just hope that I can pass along, like I've said, all of my experiences and the things that I've been through, and just help them be better. And maybe eventually Colby or Meredith or some of the kids that were here will become coaches as well, and they can pass along some of my knowledge, or maybe they listen to my knowledge.
I'm sure they do.
But I just hope that they can pass that along and help other future players become better because of it.
Yeah.
So I guess making everything better than what I found it, I guess, is kind of a way I live my life.
That's awesome. That's an awesome way to live it. And again, you talk about passing on that knowledge. It's kind of like throwing a pebble into a pond, and the ripple effect just goes out there on and on and on. So love that approach to life, and I definitely wish you the best of luck moving forward here. Hopefully we actually have a World Cup next year.
I hope so.
COVID has kind of kept pushing it back, but again, best of luck to you and all the other women's national team members as you go into the World Cup and start training for 2022. I thank you for carving out the time to get together tonight, and really enjoyed the conversation. Love talking baseball, and anything I can do to help support you guys along the way, just let me know for sure.
Absolutely. I appreciate you stopping by, and safe travels.
Thank you.
I know you got a good little hike ahead of you, so thanks for hanging out for the 2 hours. That's
No problems.
you could have.
I've taken in more baseball the past 2 days than I did in the past several months.
Well, that's good.
Getting to some high school game yesterday, and talking baseball with one of my former players earlier today, and now, so this has been a breath of fresh air without a doubt.
Awesome. That's good. That's what you want.
Yeah, without a doubt. So, folks, as always, be sure to check out my other blogs and podcasts at danclouser.com. And thanks again for joining me.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right.